Hi, I'm Mindy Sutherland,
And I'm Camille, Wright.
and we are doing our Translanguaging lesson plan on 5th grade. And we will be focusing on a visual arts activity that's going to incorporate writing and language. Our plan is to have this lesson, this project is going to be over the course of 3 days, and it should be about 4 hours total.
The class that we wanted to focus on is on Mindy's student teaching placement in Santa Ana. And in her class, she has English and Spanish speakers. She has 28 students total, with 1 emerging, 2 bridging, and 7 expanding bilingual students. They also have 1 student with an IEP and 1 student who is designated GATE.
Okay, so for this project, we plan on having iPads and we plan on using an article that's from the Orange County Register about the Orange County Museum of Art being moved to the Segerstrom Center. We will be using all of the art supplies such as markers, pens, paper, watercolors, whatever the students are hoping to use for their artist representation project that we have them doing. We'll have tape and lined paper and pens as well. So the concept for this lesson plan is that students are going to write a persuasive argument to the museum curator, they're promoting the artists that they're going to be researching in the community to have the museum have an exhibit for that artist. So the students will create a piece of artwork that represents the artist, and they will also be writing a short biography on the artist underneath, and they'll be in a gallery walk, and then they will also be doing the persuasive writing, which is why this project is going to take some time.
So the standards that we chose for this lesson plan are listed below. For writing, we have the 5th grade standards: write opinion pieces on topics or texts supporting a point of view with reasons and information. So this is going to be their justification for the artist that they chose in their letter to the museum curator on why their artist should be represented and be on exhibit. Another one is 5.7, conduct short research projects that use several sources to build knowledge through investigation of different aspects of a topic. So this is going to be when the students get to go and research artists that they think are significant in their community and they feel like represent them. So they may already have an artist in mind, or they might have to do some digging. Their ELA standard that we chose was writing literacy and informational text to present, describe, and explain ideas and information using appropriate technology. So this is the actual act of them researching, and they can use technology to do that. The second one was to support own opinions and evaluate others' opinions in speaking and writing. So this will shine through when they do the gallery walk and then they do a discussion on other people's pieces. Finally, our arts objectives that we wanted to focus on are defining the roles and responsibilities of a curator, explaining the skills and knowledge needed in preserving, maintaining, and presenting objects, artifacts, and artwork. So they'll get pretty familiar with the word curator and what that role does and why they're important, because they are going to be curating themselves, their own gallery, and they'll also be interacting with a real curator through the letters that they're writing to the museum. The next art standard was to identify and analyze cultural associations suggested by visual imagery. So this is going to be when they find the artist that they want represented, they find the work that they think would be in the museum. They're going to draw on what is significant about that work. And lastly, they're going to identify how art is used to inform or change beliefs, values, or behaviors of an individual or a society. So they're going to understand why it is important that they have these artists represented in their community.
All right, so the objectives include them being able to recognize the artists and why they're significant in their cultural and their community. They're going to create the artwork that reflects the artist's work. They're going to be writing the persuasive argument essay, using the research that they look up, and they're going to be using a persuasive argument for the museum curator. They will be doing peer review editing to finalize their product for the curator, and they're going to be doing this in English and Spanish. And they will be reflecting on the work of their peers through the gallery walk and then having that discussion after. While also they will be creating an invitation in English and Spanish to invite their parents to attend the gallery walk. All right, so for our translanguaging objectives, we really wanted to make sure that we were localizing our content, which is why we chose the article we did. So we're going to have the students research artists that appeal to them in their community and that they feel reflect their community and their heritage. They will be creating a persuasive argument in English and in Spanish to the curator of the museum, and as well as an invitation to their parents to attend the gallery walk. They're going to be using English and Spanish to create their write-up of their artist, and they'll be using each other to help do this as well as translating applications to help support them in the words that they don't know. And then that's where the peer review will also help with the English and Spanish writing. And then they will be utilizing their language to conduct research on artists, which may include interviews depending on if they know the artist personally. If they wanted to interact with this artist, they could do an in-person interview where they're utilizing their home language.
So for Explorar, students will research artists in their community that are representative of their culture and heritage. For Evaluar, students will analyze artists and evaluate the artist with the intent of persuading the curator to display the exhibit of the artist's work. For Imaginar, students will create a piece of art that reflects the artist, and it's going to be their own adaptation of it, and create a description of the artist in both English and Spanish. For Presentar, students will present their artistic work in bilingual writing in the gallery walk to their parents and peers. And finally, for Implementar, students will finalize their persuasive writing and they will send their letter to the curator of the museum.
So some of the vocabulary and skills that we'll be going over with the students include curator, exhibit, visual arts, and we will be talking about the persuasive writing skills as well as the art materials necessary that are used by the artists, as well as a review of art technique and art mediums, which have been previously done in previous lessons. And then also the translanguaging between both languages is a skill that will be utilized as well.
So for our assessment of this lesson, the final project will be a student-created gallery walk that features visual art from the community and students' interpretations of the artist's work side by side. This will mimic what they would want to see at the Orange County Museum of Art. Beneath each visual art sample, students will display a write-up in English and Spanish that provides information about their artist and why they chose that specific piece. The assessment will be the created artwork and the write-up. Students will prepare a persuasive argument paper and letter to the curator of the museum, and there will be a class discussion after the gallery walk.
So the main text that will be used is obviously the local article from the Orange County Register. And that is our lesson plan. Thank you very much.